Hi friends, I'm Shauna. Welcome to the channel. Okay, so this video is a little bit ambitious and there's two goals. The second goal is the most ambitious of the two. So the first goal of this video is to remind you to keep your head this Black Friday season and to ultimately be the voice of reason, the inspiration to kind of keep our shit together a bit, you know? The second goal of this video, I don't know why I took a sip of coffee as I was just announcing the second goal. The second goal of this video is to try to convince you to skip Black Friday altogether. Overall, I'm really just hoping that my video will balance all of the Black Friday sale content and the hauls and those kinds of things, and just kind of give you a little bit of a break from that. And hopefully I can convince you to not shop the sales. And even if I'm not successful at convincing you to not shop Black Friday, I think this will just be, at the very least, a counter to all of that Black Friday madness that's out there. I have 7 points to talk about today, and the first two are kind of no buy, low buy, budgeting specific. If you've had some kind of project going on this year. But I don't think you should tune out, because the majority of this video is for anybody who would need some inspiration to keep their head this Black Friday season. Let's get into number one. Your no buy is an opportunity. Now, if you're on a no buy in specific, skipping Black Friday is kind of like a rite of passage. Everybody who's ever really been on a no buy has had to skip Black Friday. Or should I say who's been on a year-long no buy? They've all had to skip Black Friday in order to, successfully complete the no buy year. So everybody who's ever been on a year-long no buy has done it. If they can do it, they can survive. So can you, 100%. You have built up momentum and skill by this point to be able to, to put those skills to the test and to really lean into it. Like, you're at the very end of the year. So I feel like you're most or you're best equipped to handle this temptation. I think we're our strongest either at the very beginning and potentially the very end, like once you've had all that skill and opportunity to learn. Now, I do want to reiterate something here that I said once before, and now I really feel like this is the opportunity. If there's one time of year, this is the opportunity. So when I was completing my comprehensive exams, which is basically a year where you read 200 books and then you write like a 10-day exam. Now, they're technically called comprehensive exams. We call them comps. So just before I was about to start my comps, one of my supervisor, she told me this. She said that a lot of people go through comps and they just see it as something to go through, to struggle through it, rite of passage. You have to do it in order to get to the rest of your degree. And she said most people don't enjoy it. She said you will never be more educated in your entire life than right now. Not even if you join a faculty, actually pursue your degree at an academic level, because never again will you get paid for an entire year to basically read as many books as possible. She said this is something to be enjoyed and savored and really make the most of this, because it is an opportunity and not something to struggle through. Her comment was very wise, and I tried to take her advice at the time as best as I could, but it has really sunk in with me after. And I really think that it applies here too. You will hopefully only ever be on a no buy once in your life, just once. And I think that you owe it to yourself to do everything that the no buy has to offer. And a no buy isn't something to struggle through, but I think something to be savored and enjoyed. Never again will you have this opportunity. Take this Black Friday sale season as an opportunity to really enjoy all of the things that the no buy has to offer. And there's no reason for us to see the no buy as a punishment or something to simply struggle through. This is something to be savored and enjoyed, and really our no buy is what we make it. And if we make it something to struggle through, then we won't enjoy it, we won't have fun, and we might not be getting the most out of our no buys. And so if we see this Black Friday period as an opportunity, then we can enjoy this process even more. Maybe one of the ways that you enjoy the Black Friday season is being completely offline maybe leaning into your hobbies or family or friend time. I mean, that is something that would be a really great weekend. Okay, number 2. You've put in so many days into your no-buy. You're committed. Like, you're beyond committed. Right now, if you decided to break your no-buy, it would be like seeing the finish line in a race right in front of you and then just deciding to walk or to stop. No. We're not doing that here. Do not disappoint yourself and do not break your no-buy. It is not worth it. Stuff is not worth it. So I did this little exercise a couple weeks ago, but we're going to do it again because we're even closer to the end of the year. So if this video goes up as anticipated, today is Sunday, November 20th. It is the 324th day of the year. So you have successfully completed 323 days of your no-buy. And you have 41 days left of the year. 41. If today was January 1st, 41 days into the year is February 10th. I mean, that probably was the easiest part of your no-buy. You have completed 89% of the year and you have only 11% left. 11. Now is the time to pull up your bootstraps, watch a motivational video, log offline, put your credit card in the freezer and show up for yourself. That is what this time is for. And listen, friends, even if you're not on a no-buy, let's say you're on a budgeting year, the same thing applies. If you're on a low buy, the same thing applies. If you're trying to be a conscious consumer, the same thing applies. Now is not the time to go back on your goals because you want to buy something. It is not. Now is the time to show up for yourself because you need yourself most. Now, if you're not on a no-buy and you're here trying to be a conscious consumer and maybe you've thought about going on one, let me try to convince you really quickly that right now is the perfect time to go on a no-buy. Why? Because motivation is highest at the very beginning of any kind of project. You ever start a new hobby or skill, maybe take a new class, maybe try to develop a new hobby? We are the most interested, we are the most motivated at achieving our goals right at the beginning. So right now, you will never be more motivated to go on a no-buy than at the beginning. And if Black Friday is less than a week away, you will be your most motivated when you enter this time of year, which matters if you've been somebody who's been particularly triggered by sales or Black Friday in the past. So that means that you will go through the most triggering part of the year right at the beginning, and then you'll come off your no-buy when you are the most experienced. So you'll go through potentially the most triggering part of the year right at the beginning of your no-buy, and then you'll come off your no-buy just before this period when you are the most experienced, the most educated. You've completed 365 days of a no-buy at that point. You'll be so ready to handle that season when it comes around again. I think that right now is the time to go on it, and you do not need a full, clean January 1st to January 1st type of situation. You could go on a no-buy any day of the year, make that day 1 today. Number 3, skipping Black Friday is not a punishment. Whether or not you're on a no-buy, doesn't matter. Skipping Black Friday or sticking to a budget, those aren't punishments. Setting a budget as a guideline offers you freedom because you have confidence when you spend your money because you know that this is money that you can actually spend. And when you spend that money, you can afford to spend it. You're not compromising your financial future or your own goals when you decide to make a purchase of, any kind. Spending that money isn't going to put you into debt or wreck your financial goals. If you're skipping Black Friday because your budget doesn't allow it, that's a good thing. And your budget is really only doing you favors. If you're electing to skip Black Friday or you're thinking about it, this is not a punishment either. It's not, oh, bad you, you've been so terrible, you have to grit your teeth and bear it. No. Saving money is not a punishment. Putting your money towards other meaningful things is also not a punishment. And spending within your means, also not a punishment. And hopefully in the rest of the video, you'll see other reasons why skipping could be a positive thing. I think maybe for some of us, just being told no, we want to lash out against that. We could decide not to do that thing on our own, but just the fact of being told no makes us want to go, you can't tell me to do that. Like, I make my own choices. And so maybe even if nobody is telling you no, if you're telling yourself no, nobody's telling you no, or your budget's telling you no, you might want to, you might be chafing up against that. You might just want to be like, I can do what I want. And so I think that if we reframe the way we see Black Friday or these sales as a good thing and not a punishment, I think it makes it easier to skip. And also ask yourself, because I'm curious, or maybe you should be curious, why do you see it as a punishment? Why is this something that you've just kind of felt like you need to grit your teeth and bear it? Or why is skipping Black Friday seen as so unfathomable that you just can't imagine skipping it? I think those are some great questions to ask yourself. I guess on this note as well, the reason why we want to shop Black Friday is simple. It's on sale. Sale, period. Great price. Just think about that for a second. Price is a huge motivator for sure. And I'm not going to say that price doesn't matter. No. But if that's the only reason why you're buying something, it's equivalent to saying, I want this thing because it exists. When things are on sale, we are most likely to make impulse purchases, buy, spend beyond our means. Think about the last couple of years. How much of your Black Friday purchases have you actually enjoyed, used, kept, and not decluttered? I've had my most wasteful spending on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because I get so caught up in the throes of spending, and it's so exciting to buy stuff and so exciting to save money that I'm just, I buy things that have been on the backlog of the wish list. And I never considered when I'm making those purchases, do I want it? Do I need it? Can I afford it? Do I have other things similar? I never think of any of those things, because what is enticing me is this feeling of the spend, the excitement of the spend, the dopamine hit. It just feels so good. And maybe the dopamine hit lasts longer because you're spending more money than you ordinarily would, or getting a better deal than you ordinarily would, or both. So like you feel extra high and it feels so good. It's just so fun. There's a lot of things in life that can just be really fun, but also really bad choices. Do with that information as what you will. Don't let the dopamine hit dictate your future or dictate your choices. I know that's like easier said than done, but if you can't even handle the feelings once you're in the dopamine hit, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't put your credit card in. Don't participate. If you've had bad tendencies in the past to overspend on Black Friday, just don't even tempt yourself with buying anything. Now, let me get into the next point, which is prove to yourself that you can do it and or develop good habits. I was just talking about the fact that if you have historically overspent on Black Friday, then it's probably a good idea to just pass on it overall. And I just want to give an example here. A lot of people will use Black Friday as an opportunity to get something that they wanted, or let's say a gift or something, to get at its best price of the year. Great. I understand that mentality. I've done this as well. Just recently, I bought a gift for somebody when the company was having their one sale of the year. I waited for the sale, got my 2 things, went in, went out, got it. Okay, great. What I am saying is that if you have historically been triggered, you might be inclined to say, you know what, I can do it, or I still want to participate because I'm going to save the money and that money is important to me. And, if I waited after the sale to buy it, then I wouldn't get that discount. Let's say you want to buy $200 worth of stuff on Black Friday. Let's just say they're gifts or for yourself, doesn't matter. Let's say you save 30%, which would be a savings of $60. You are going to buy these things no matter what, and you want to get the best price of the season, so you're waiting for Black Friday, and you save $60 on that purchase. Now, if you get triggered by Black Friday, maybe in that exact sale, you decide to put more things in your cart because you're saving money, it feels good, you get caught up. If you spend more than $60 on unintended purchases, you are now spending more money than you would have if you just waited and bought those things after the sale. If that's you, you're better waiting for Black Friday to be over to get in and get out and know that you will make that one purchase. And then in that case, buying full price will save you money because you're not making those unintended purchases. Proving to ourselves that we can do it, that we can be a conscious consumer, that we can spend within our means, we can stick to our budget, that we can make considered purchases that fit whatever kinds of goals we have, to prove to ourselves that we've cultivated good habits and good buying choices, that can go way farther than $200 worth of stuff for yourself ever could. And I think for a lot of cases, if we've impulse bought stuff, we'll return it, we won't use it, we'll declutter it fairly quickly. So, there's that. But even if you found stuff that you really love, cultivating good habits can last you longer than most things that you could buy at $200. They can last years or lifetimes. These things will set you up for success for your future, which in many ways is better than what $200 could have bought you. Let's get into number 5, and this is don't let yourself down. When I was learning about goal setting, I learned about intrinsic goal setting. I want to talk about that right now. A 2009 article by Helen Street called The Why, Not the What, The Positive Power of Intrinsic Motivations in Client Goal Setting and Pursuit, long title. She argued that a contributing factor for goal failure is external motivation. We're so focused on losing weight or quitting smoking, as an example, that becomes the goal. She argues that intrinsic goal setting, ones that focus on the self or within, are much more effective. She's not just advocating for setting a why, as in why do you want to quit smoking? Or why is that important to you? Intrinsic goals and motivation are about connecting goals or creating goals that are connected to our deepest selves, core values, the things that make us who we are. So if good health is one of your core values or beliefs, then connecting, losing weight or quitting smoking to that will go a long way. I think a lot of people care about our health. It is important to us, but it wouldn't be an intrinsic or core belief or value. In any case, she also advocates for creating goals that are intrinsic in themselves and not just relying on the why for a goal to be intrinsic. So, keeping a promise to myself and refusing to give up on myself connects to some of my core needs and values that are so important that I am way more likely to follow through on that than waking up every day at 8 a.m. So I'll just use myself as an example. If I want to wake up, I said 8 a.m., but let's say something earlier that might be more difficult. Like let's say every day at 6 a.m. or every day at 5 a.m. I might want to do that to be more productive because I want to write a book or I want to develop a website or an app. I want to get more out in my day, or let's say I want to do it to develop a yoga practice to be healthier. I feel like a lot of our goals kind of sound like that, right? We can even say that developing our business might give me confidence, or, it's what I'm born to do. I want to work on my passion. Great. There will be a time where I fall off on it, 100%. But if my goal is, Shauna, I want to not give up on myself, and I made a commitment to that, and I'm dedicated to that, and I'm committed to being worthy and practicing that, showing up for myself every day, it is way harder for me to snooze that 5 a.m. alarm, because when I snooze it, every single time I snooze it, or anytime I snooze it, I am giving up on myself. That worms its way into my brain, and that's powerful. Well, this might be a little bit deep for a skipping Black Friday kind of video. If you want to connect to your deepest self, your core beliefs, and you truly want to live those and embodying those, developing good shopping habits, proving to yourself that you can do it, that you can make good choices, can connect to really important goals that are fundamental to who you are or who you want to be. That is so powerful and can be enough alone to help you skip the sale if those are things that you want for yourself. I'm not here to dictate to you what good shopping looks like or that you have to have these goals. I'm only here to be that voice in your head if you want it for yourself. Number 6, you can put the money that you would have spent on Black Friday towards something meaningful. Now, if you spend money during a sale, you'll be sacrificing something later on. Either you're spending money now that could have been going into something like debt, as an example. You'll be sacrificing money on interests on loans or loan repayment. You might also be sacrificing time in achieving your financial goals. So you're going to achieve them later because you're spending more money now. Or sacrificing money that you would have spent on other things. It's not always about debt or things like that. Maybe there's a vacation that you really want to go on, or a gift that you really want to buy for somebody, or something special that you wanted to buy for yourself. Maybe you wanted to go to a dinner or to a show, or maybe buying a replacement like a laptop or something like that. Here's the funny part. This has kind of been me. I've told myself, wow, I don't have the money to buy insert expensive thing here. Let's say an iPad. I've kind of wanted one, and I've always told myself, that's kind of expensive. When a few years back, before my no-buy, I think I had spent maybe $600 on Black Friday, which was about the price of a iPad at that time. And so I'm over here saying, oh, I can't replace my laptop or I can't buy an iPad, when I made 4 or 5 smaller purchases totaling up to $600. There's the iPad. Most of that stuff I don't have anymore, or I resent the fact that I purchased it. I returned it because I was like, wait a second. And I got so caught up in things. And I could have just had the laptop, or I could have just had the iPad. You can absolutely choose to skip Black Friday and put your money into something else that will matter to you more. Things aren't always about paying off debt or that we don't have money to spend. I know there's so many of you out there that have a lot of disposable income, and so you could afford to spend a few $100s on Black Friday. So sometimes it's not about spending money in general, but making sure where your money goes counts, and it provides you with the greatest satisfaction. Last year, what I had intended to do was take all the money that I was going to spend on Black Friday and put it towards the ballet. And I was so excited about that. However, the ballet got canceled because of COVID, like literally last minute, and I didn't actually get to go. But the premise still stands, and that's something that I would do in the future. Number 7, what's not good enough about what you already own? Great prices are enticing, and getting new and shiny things is just kind of fun. I ask you though, before you start adding stuff to your cart, what is wrong with what you already own? What is not good enough about it? Is it simply that it's not new anymore? And if that's the case, I just want to recall something for you. At one time, you bought a lot of things that you own from a place of excitement. Not everything for certain, but probably a lot of things, a good chunk of things. You were so excited to open the box or to get that purchase home from the store. So many of the things that you own made you excited to swatch them, try them on, tell your friends about them, play with them for the first time. Maybe they even made you a little bit giddy. I'm also willing to bet there's some things that you currently own that you pined after, you lusted after. Maybe you put them on a wish list. Maybe you saved up for that. Maybe you watched a dozen swatch videos or comparison videos of multiple things that you own. I'll give you 3 examples from me that are right off the bat. Modern Renaissance, the Glam Palette, Maybelline Lifter Glosses. I thought of 3 things real quick. A lot of these things I thought about for weeks, if not months. The lifter glosses in particular, we're talking years. Maybe you even went to the store to swatch these things in person or to see them in person. I certainly did that with the ABH palette. For a lot of what you own, you were excited about those things at one point in time. My feeling is that the reason why a lot of the things that you own feel less special is just simply time. They're not the newest, shiniest, nicest thing anymore. And it's not necessarily because the formula or the style of the thing is out of date. That might apply to some things, but there's no way that that applies to 100% of the things that you own across the board. I bet that you have some beautiful things in your collection right now. Pause this video and pop into the comments right now. What is something that is very beautiful that you own right now? Sometimes we get so caught up in our desire for something new and our lust for something new, which can be really driven by Black Friday and the sale season, that we are so excited because we're expecting a new purchase. Like if you plan to buy something on Black Friday, that excitement or that anticipation of getting something could drive us a long way. And I think this can lead us to, not see the forest for the trees. We might walk past our makeup collection and don't feel that excitement anymore because it's old news. And we're not spending that time to think about the beautiful things that we already own. That's okay. And right now is the perfect time to get to know your trees again. And by trees, I mean your makeup items. We think about our makeup collection as something that might be this large and more abstract thing, but it's full of little trees that have excited us and enticed us, and we've loved these things before. So go get to know your trees. That's everything for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I've convinced you in some way to maybe spend less money this Black Friday, maybe to skip it all together. And I really hope I've balanced some of that Black Friday content that you've been seeing out there. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me today. Hope that you will subscribe to catch more content like this. We have some great videos coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.